have libraries anymore or anything like that until you upgrade to 10.
Yeah, see, they're biting more and more into there, and they're going to make it so rough for folks. And it's scaring a lot of folks because they know, granted, this version of Windows 10, we'll talk about this more after down the road here, but Windows 10 is being forced on you this coming month. You have no choice. That's the music that tells us we got to take a short break.
Yeah, we want to remind folks to give us a call as well. 966-JAZZ, 966-5299. A lot of computer questions coming in, and we need a lot of pledges to come in as well. If you want to make sure this program, Sound Bites on Jazz 90.1, continues, do give us a call and make that pledge. 966-JAZZ, 966-5299. I'm Rob Linton in this week for Nick Francesco, joined by Dave Enright and Steve Ray on Sound Bites. We'll be back. Make these phones ring on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
The success of a business depends on its ability to offer value, a great quality product or service for the right price. Businesses themselves need to get value for the things they need as well. As an underwriter of Jazz 90.1, you can get the word out about your business, what you do, where you are, and how to reach you. Underwriting messages are straightforward, simple, and easy to remember. Underwriting at Jazz 90.1 is a great way to promote your business while supporting public jazz radio. For more information, call the Jazz 90.1 business office at 966-2660 today.
Great. Do I keep the lights and heat on or buy groceries this week? And rent is due next week. I don't want to borrow money from my sister. I can't get ahead of these bills.
Sometimes we feel as though our problems are getting too big to overcome, but there is help. You don't have to do this on your own. By dialing 211 earlier, before those struggles become a crisis, you can get connected to the help you need. You can dial 211, or you can visit connecttohelpnow.org.
Hi, this is Dick Robinson. If you're having a hard time finding the music you love, the Great American Songbook, join me, will you, for American Standards by the Sea. We think it's the best music ever recorded, and you can hear it every week. Listen Sunday mornings at 10, Tuesday nights at 6, right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Dick Robinson's American Standards by the Sea.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency or your escape route. I am not fast. Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Low batteries.
Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Follow Jazz 90.1 on Twitter at 901Jazz.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
After a bit of a chilly start, look for a good supply of sunshine across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes for the day today. Temperatures will range anywhere from near 50 degrees from 5 and 20 south to the upper 30s to near 40 lakeside to the mid-40s in Rochester. Tonight's mainly clear. The overnight low temperature in the low and mid-30s, not as chilly as last night. Easter Sunday brings sunshine and increasing clouds. The high temperature 60 to 65. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Right now, not a bad afternoon. Mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures of 37 degrees at the airport, 43 here in Greece at member-supported Jazz 90.1. This is Rob Linton. Join me weekdays from 4 to 6 on member-supported Jazz 90.1. And you were listening to Sound Bites on member-supported Jazz 90.1. I'm Rob Linton in for Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And we are looking for your calls and pledges of support here at Jazz 90.1 as we continue on with our spring pledge drive. Want to take an opportunity to thank our latest member here, and that would be Craig in Rochester. Craig, thanks so much for your pledge.
Yes, thank you very much.
And so those guys have done their part. We need the rest of you listening right now to do your part
need to pick
too.
up the phones and give us a call at 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-5299.
What? Wait. You just made your own. You just made your own phone number.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
See,
let's do the numbers again.
Let's try 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415. See, I'm so used to looking off to my right and the The flyer's right there. And this here, I'm looking through the mic stand. This is weird for me. Hey, I've not been, since we've been here, I have not been on this side, sitting on my butt. It's usually
you
Nick and
usually
Steve.
sit on your butt, but on this side.
No,
you know what I mean?
I never sit.
Right. Listen.
You're the only old man there. It's got, oh, I got to have a chair. I got to sit.
I do have to have a chair.
And this chair is crappy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And I sit there and do my Thursday night show, and I do Saturdays. I don't sit.
Okay. Well,
I do.
All
Jeez
right.
Louise.
966 Jazz 966-5299. A lot of folks calling in with computer questions. We need a lot of folks calling in too with pledges
And you
of
can do
support.
it also while you're listening to this show. You can do another tab and just go over to jazz901.org and pledge safely there. The only thing we'll do with your information is send you a thank you. And there's a lot of great gifts with your membership. I mean, if you go to the $1,000 level, Rob will come over and clean your windows.
I'll cut the grass.
Yeah.
For $1,000, we send Phil Knott over to cut the grass.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of great gifts.
That's
the new
right.
sweatshirt, the zip-up sweatshirt. I like that one. I got to get one of those.
A lot of people are going to be sporting those at the XRIJF coming up soon. We're going to head back to the phones now while you're calling in with your pledges. We have a lot of folks waiting. Mark from Webster. Mark, thanks for calling in today.
How you doing today, guys?
Good, Mark. What's up?
Well, I just got, that's probably a simple fix. I'm not sure, but I just have, I'm pretty much just a YouTube video guy, email and look up things and make shortcuts to look them up later and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed when my Internet Explorer is up and running and minimized down below in the system tray, all my shortcuts and everything will maximize and open up fine. And when Internet Explorer isn't open, everything opens up to like a 3x5 window. I can never get anything to maximize ever.
Yeah, that's been a problem with Windows forever. It doesn't remember the window size you set it at. One of the things that often
one of the features that they put it. Yeah, right.
One of the things that often works is when the window is open, make it the size you want it to be. Don't maximize it. Manually.
I've stretched it before, and I put even new windows and closed the tab on both windows.
And
I've tried all the little fixes they've had, but
once you get the window size you want it to be, hit the F5 button. And that's supposed to set it and remember that size.
Save it.
The F5, huh?
Yeah, F5.
Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Thank you very much. I'll try that.
That's why. And you a member?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
Hey, that's what we want to hear.
There is an option.
I got to keep up Nick's end of the job since he's not here hounding folks to make sure that they, are members of Soundbites and of this great station.
There is a weird, well, not a weird. There's an option you can make on the shortcut itself for any application in Windows that you can tell it to always open full screen.
Well, then when you get full screen, you don't see any of your toolbars or anything else.
Right, that's the side effect. The Mac has that feature too. So full screen is nice, but I want the window to fill the screen except for the toolbars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that there's not an automatic way to do that in many cases.
So F5 will do it.
Yep.
All right, guys. I appreciate your help.
All right, take care.
Thanks so much, Mark. We appreciate the phone call, and we're looking for your calls and pledges as well. What are the numbers, Dave?
The numbers are 966-5299, toll free 1-800-790-0415, or it comes right here to Rob's phone. You can go to jazz901.org.
My phone? My phone?
Yes. You get the email.
No, it doesn't come to my phone.
The email doesn't.
The email to the station's email address.
It comes to the. Oh, you're. Yeah.
The email comes to Rob's phone, so you keep him busier than he already is, getting confused, trying to do my job, which he learns isn't as easy. You think keep him bad? Add one more task to his.
You think I'm confused? Do you think
you know
I'm
what?
confused?
I haven't seen your butt sit in the chair too much.
Do you want to know why? Because I'm young and peppy.
Right.
All right, listen, we're going to head back to the phones. We got a lot of people waiting.
The chair, then.
He's half your age.
That's right.
I think he might be half my age, too.
That's right. Let's head back to the phones now. Andy in Greece, thanks for the call. And Andy went bye-bye.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
No, I didn't do yeah.
See, I trained him for a couple weeks, and he always messing up. Dropping callers. They sit there, probably members that, pledge thousands of dollars, and he's dropping them.
It's we're exceeding the capacity of the phone system here in the studio.
Rob's capacity.
Not quite designed for a call-in radio show.
Yeah, no, and that's one thing.
That wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it was not my fault.
All right. Yeah, that's okay.
You know what? Be happy
That's okay.
be happy there's cameras in here right now because all right, Al in Penfield. Al, welcome to Sound Bites. Thanks for calling today.
Hey, thanks for entertaining the call. It sounds like a different dynamic this morning.
Oh, it's a great dynamic. It's a wonderful dynamic.
Yeah, folks don't realize back in the day, the three of us, Nick, Steve, and I, were in a separate studio. He'd be in his own little cubicle.
That's right.
And we could have more fun with him, pick on him, because he had to step on his step stool to get up over the board to even see us. Yeah. You know, he's grown up with us. And
literally.
Yeah, literally, yeah. All those years when we were at the other station, we worked with him and taught him everything he knows.
Yeah, right.
All right. How about a computer question? Go ahead.
Well, not quite a computer question, but
yeah, go ahead.
Just harking back 6 or 7 months ago, Rob Litton and I had a little conversation about making donations to your wonderful enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to remind folks, and you may want to add it into your tag, that there's things like the Rochester Area Community Foundation that people can make donations to Jazz 90.1 through them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only because I've spent the last 2 days playing with taxes that it's coming to my mind, because it's a tax advantage to the donor.
Yeah, a lot of businesses, companies you work for will do donation matching.
Yeah,
they will. Yeah,
yep. So check for the company you work for, check for other organizations you belong to, and many of them do donation.
And
matching.
we appreciate that reminder as well, because there are a lot of different ways you can support Jazz 90.1. Of course, we have a lot of them here, but there are a lot of companies too. You can send it through, like the RACF and organizations like that a lot of people don't think about. And the matching donations are huge. In some cases, some of these companies will double or even triple donations that you make to charitable organizations.
It's a tax write-off for them,
That's
too.
right. That's right.
So, it's a win-win situation all the way around. The station gets to stay on the air. You get the tax deduction, and so does your company.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It really is. We appreciate that very much.
Yes, thank you for that reminder,
so
sir.
Just to further anyone who's on the keyboard or on the phone right now, if you are using the Rochester Area Community Foundation, what you want to search for is not Jazz 90.1, but you want to do Greece Community Broadcasting.
That's right.
That's the umbrella that you guys work under, so that's how they can find them.
Well, thank you very much.
Yep, we appreciate that very much, and definitely, if anybody ever has any questions about donations and that kind of thing, feel free to give us a call in the office, and we can help you out as far as that goes. The number to call to pledge your support for Sound Bites is 966-JAZZ, 966-5299. Our latest member online coming in, Frank from Rochester, renewing member. Thank you, Frank. That's going to be your job, just hitting the bell. That's all.
Yeah, you can't. No,
you got to slide the button there for Frank to talk, Rob.
No, Frank pledged on the internet.
He's
not on the phone. Will you let me
sorry.
push the buttons over here?
Well, you said the latest pledge.
I said the latest pledge on the internet.
Which is true.
It's okay, Steve. He's new. He hasn't done this
he's new.
In a long
time.
It's been almost a decade.
So there's all those blinky lights over there. He doesn't quite know what to do with.
Yeah, the shiny lights.
You know what? I don't know if I could fire volunteers, but I might. I don't know. All right, next up, Andy in Greece is back.
That happened to this station. What are you talking about?
Andy, thanks so much for your call. How are you?
I'm doing fine. We did finally, after I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years of procrastination, finally did get in and set up a Jazz-O-Matic last week.
So,
awesome. Thank you,
sir.
Let it not be said that I don't get to it eventually. The problem is when I'm listening to you guys, I'm out doing my weekly running around.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the constabulary takes a dim view of using your cell phone while you drive your vehicle. So, I didn't want to get a ticket. And,
yeah, please don't do that. We do not advocate that.
Then I can't afford to give you a donation. So,
exactly. We'd rather give it to us than the city for being texting on the phone.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Couple things.
Yeah.
Last week or the week before, you talked about Cloud Ready from Neverware. And I actually went in, printed off the instructions, and actually knew for me, I actually read the instructions carefully. Yeah, I know. I'm getting.
You're dangerous, dude.
But I actually followed the instructions, went and got a memory stick the right size because I didn't have one. Did the whole thing, and actually was able to resurrect the ThinkPad that we had for my son in college, and it wiped out the drive and put in the Google browser, and away we go. He's got a computer back that can now be used.
Isn't that cool, though?
Yeah, it is, and it didn't take as long as they said it would. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah,
and it was under their time estimate by almost half. So
I think like anybody else, they'd rather be on the long side. Then people sit there saying, "Oh, geez, it took forever." But if they told you it's going to take X amount of hours and it takes less, they're always the good guy.
Yeah, I know how that works.
Yep.
And for those that don't remember, Cloud Ready is a Chromebook experience to let you put Chrome OS on an old laptop. And it works really great on old hardware because it's a web browser. It doesn't need super whiz-bang hardware. And it's free for personal use.
You can check when you go to the site. Just find your computer to see if it's compatible.
Yep.
And as long as you got your model number and whatnot there, you can go through and you can find it. And there's a huge list of stuff there.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, great way to resurrect an old laptop.
The Lenovo stuff is a nuisance because the model numbers that they put on it, you got to hunt all over the box to find it. And but I did find it eventually. It was right at the top of the list, so I was like, cool, I can do this.
Oh, good.
And so that worked. Let's see. Third thing, a couple weeks ago, Nick said he did a presentation for one of the user groups in the area about using cloud applications or whatever. And I may have misconstrued. I thought he was saying that there was like a Google users group out there or something. And so I'm trying to see if there is one.
Yes.
I know it's a pretty simple item, but I've got a Chromebook and I'm finding it took me several tries to get the print function to work with my network and my equipment. And now the Cloud Ready thing was pretty fast and simple.
Yep.
But there's little things about where do you find
hold on.
things
Yeah.
in the hamburger menu and things like that.
Yeah, there is a Rochester Google group called Rochester Googles. Currently meets the first Thursday of every month at St. John's Home. Is it? I think it is. And Nick does speak there. Nick attends quite a bit too because he's so big into Chrome. And he's written a couple of books on Chrome too. Yep. You can find on our website.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, that was the
Rochester Googles, and it's the first. I just lost the page it was on. First Thursday of the month.
And where do they meet?
It's different depending on the month, but right now they've been meeting at St. John's Home on Highland Avenue. I believe that's right. And what basically, because I'm involved with the Apple users group, we're always trying to find cheap meeting space, especially free meeting space for nonprofit users groups. So we tend to often move our meetings around depending on who has a free meeting space that month. But for right now, they're going to be there.
Okay. And do they have a website or anything?
They're on Google Plus. plus.google.com, and I will post a link to their pages shortly.
Okay. So we settle everything for you?
We did. Andy from Greece, thank you very much for calling in. Also want to take an opportunity to thank our newest member who just pledged online, Richard in Rochester. We appreciate your support. Dave, how else can people pledge? Do tell.
Oh, if they pick up the phones and give us a call at 966-5299, toll free 1-800-790-0415, or like we like to do it, keep Rob busier, is go to jazz901.org and fill out the form right there.
It is.
We've got a lot of great gifts, CDs and shirts and jackets.
The Soundbite shirts. Have you seen the Soundbite shirts? How about the mouse pads?
Yeah, I mean, we've got it all.
I mean, even though people may not use mouse pads anymore, you'll use this mouse pad.
Well, some folks still do, with the desktops and all that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
desktop hasn't gone away totally yet.
What I've found is if your desk is too smooth or too transparent, the optical mice don't see it. So we run into customers now and then that have a glass desktop.
A glass desk,
It doesn't work because there's nothing for the camera to see.
That's right.
They got to put it on a piece of white paper or something.
Yep.
So it can get the reference points.
One of the things about this program is it is free technical support. Now, I don't know what shops are charging nowadays per hour for computer problems.
I think the average in-shop rate is probably around $85 an hour.
And that's just to walk in the front door.
Yeah, I mean, to get cleanups and everything else, that's usually averaging between $120 to $150 say $60.
And when
if you need a part,
yeah. And when you call this program, you're getting that service for free. So
and
if
we
you listen-
offer, they can go to the Security Tango.
Yeah.
Where we have products there that we recommend that you run on your machine, and it'll help keep your machine clean.
Yep.
That's one of the other pluses about a Chromebook that I want to just throw in here for a moment.
You guys into Chromebooks.
This Chromebook, though, here's the thing with the Chromebook.
Yeah.
You don't get viruses, spyware, malware, any of that.
Yet.
Because it's a browser.
Oh, I got
It's just a browser. That's all you're using is a browser.
Yep.
There's no OS to run.
And you can ignore any message that pops up and says you're
Nick-
infected with a Windows virus.
Nick was sitting right here running his Chromebook.
Yeah.
And he got a message that says, "Oh, you better stop now." It's a flashing thing that says, "You got to stop right now because your Windows PC is infected."
And he laughed. And that was it. Yeah.
And we go, "Really?
Yeah.
Cool. How'd they do that?"
The number
There's no OS on this one.
The number to call to make your pledge of support is 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. If you enjoy Sound Bites every week, and we hear from so many people who listen to this program not only live, but also will listen to it on the podcast via our app, via your website. And it's a great service that we like bringing to you. But in order for that to happen, we need you to pick up your phone and give us a call and make that pledge of support. 966-JAZZ, 966-5299. So important to hear from you. Pick up your phone, give us a call. I'm Rob Linton, joined by Dave Enright and Steve Ray. We'll be back next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
What's small, pretty, and worth lots of money? It's the Jazz 90.1 Enhanced Member Card, and now it's worth more than ever with the addition of 35 wineries to the list of restaurants, stores, and other businesses in the Rochester area, discounting prices exclusively to members of Jazz 90.1. You can even use your card when you travel in the U.S. It's a great way to reward yourself, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Well, get one by making a pledge of support at the $90 10-cent level or above to Jazz 90.1. For more information on becoming a member, call 966-5299 or pledge online at jazz901.org.
Tickets to this year's Jazz 90.1 Jazz Cruises go on sale April 1st. For more information, visit our website at jazz901.org.
Hi, I'm Otto Bruno, your host of the Sunday Music Festa. Every Sunday afternoon from 12 to 2 p.m., we celebrate the standards of the Great American Songbook with the help of artists such as Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Count Basie, Dean Martin, Rosemary Clooney, and many, many more. Join us this week and every week for the Sunday Music Festa from 12 noon until 2 p.m. right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1 in Rochester, New York.
Hey, hon, do me a favor and hold the ladder for me.
I have a better idea. Let's just call somebody to clean the gutters.
To scoop out a few leaves? Come on, I'll be down in a heartbeat.
No!
Using a ladder might seem easy. Misusing one is even easier. For tips on ladder safety, visit orthoinfo.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep your bones safe, strong, and well-connected.
Follow Jazz 90.1 on Instagram at WGMC Jazz 901.
And now, a check of your Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
After a bit of a chilly start, look for a good supply of sunshine across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes for the day today. Temperatures will range anywhere from near 50 degrees from 5 and 20 south to the upper 30s to near 40 lakeside to the mid-40s in Rochester. Tonight's mainly clear. The overnight low temperature in the low and mid-30s, not as chilly as last night. Easter Sunday brings sunshine and increasing clouds. The high temperature 60 to 65. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Not a bad afternoon out there. We have a mix of sun and clouds and 45 degrees here in Greece at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, I'm Linda Wildman. Join me Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
And you were listening to Sound Bites on member-supported Jazz 90.1. I'm Rob Linton in for Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And we are so glad to have you along with us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow, Easter Sunday, looking nice.
Yes.
Temperatures of 60 to 60. Are you getting a bike out?
No, not
You're
yet.
not getting the bike out?
No, we
Yeah.
got too much going on. Easter dinner and church and
The temperature has to match the speed, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's that. You got to wait for the salt to get off the road, and then it takes a good
well,
month
that-
or two for people to remember there's bikes out there.
Yeah,
you know?
well, the salt, for the most part, with the past thunderstorms that we've had, is taking care of that issue.
Yeah.
But it's got to warm up a little bit.
Well, it's going to be a nice weekend, and it's turning out to be a nice day here as well. Want to thank Mary Ann from Rochester for calling in and pledging. Thank you very much to Mary Ann. And also want to thank a longtime member of this radio station. We're so grateful for his support, David from Baldwinsville, New York. Thank you very much, David, for your support. Now we head back to the phone.
Wow.
That's near the corner of Walk-and-Dolwalk, isn't it?
It's
near Syracuse.
Just outside of Syracuse. I've got a sister-in-law that lives there.
Yeah, you have a lot of sister-in-laws that live a lot of places. You got a big
that
family.
right.
Yeah.
That's an understatement, dude.
966-JAZZ, 966-5299. The number to call to ask your computer questions today and also to pledge your support. We head back to the phones. Lynette in Rochester. Lynette, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hi, I recently tried updating to Windows 10. I currently have Windows 7,
Mm-hmm.
and I have an HP Pavilion PC,
Mm-hmm.
1226S. It's a desktop.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tried to do this last week, Friday, it took forever to download. I got through all that. I couldn't connect to the internet. It kept coming up that you cannot connect to the internet. I tried calling Roadrunner. My modem and router are fine. I was referred to Microsoft. I called them, and they said I'm missing a network adapter driver for Windows 10. And they helped me go back to Windows 7, and they said all I have to do is download it. But when I go to hp.com, I don't see a driver just listed called network adapter driver.
You have to put in your
Yeah.
model number
I
or
did.
model name, and the network adapter should be, or it could.
Yeah, usually
do you have
go
a
to HP and there's a driver section. You go to there. Once you get your model and there's drivers, you go down the drivers, and they usually have different categories, whether it's the audio, the video, the sound, or networking. You got to click on that plus sign for the networking and scroll down that. There could be quite a few of them.
Is your network card on the motherboard, or is it a separate card?
I have no idea.
When you plug in your Ethernet wire, is it in line with the other jacks, or is it perpendicular in the slot access?
I don't know. But right now I'm on hp.com, and I plunked in my model number, and it says Rawlink wireless network controller driver. Would that be the right one to download?
No. Are you using wired or wireless?
Wireless.
Then yes, that is the right one.
Okay.
So-
Well, I don't know that much about computers, and I kind of learn a lot reading the newspaper and listening to shows. So I didn't want to download something that was the wrong thing and mess up what I have.
Well, when you're on the HP site for your computer, they're all the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's two ways to do networking. You can do wireless networking, or you can do wired networking, and
Okay.
each one has its own separate driver.
Yeah, because usually under that tab, like I was saying, under networking,
yeah.
if they
Well, I
built
was
that
thinking
machine,
it might have been called motherboard.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is usually they line the products that they put in that particular model. Once she puts in that specific model, anything listed is usually something that could be on that machine, whether it's on the motherboard or on the card.
Mhm.
So by the networking, you could go with both. If there is still, which I wouldn't doubt, built into the motherboard for hardwired networking,
Yeah.
and she's got a card in there with a little antenna for the wireless.
HP might even have a section in that support page you're on for Windows 10 upgrade recommendations.
Check there.
Things to do before you upgrade.
Those wireless cards don't work very well anyway, do they? My desktop at home has one. It does not work.
Part of the problem with computers in general, but
Wireless.
desktop specifically, is that the case is metal.
Yeah.
And radio waves don't go through metal very well. So many times, especially on a desktop, you'll have an antenna that sticks out the back.
Mm-hmm.
On your laptop, you often notice that there's a plastic hinge cover between the top and the bottom of your laptop. And that's where the antenna is, on that plastic, because it can't get through the metal of your laptop either.
And also within the house, the barriers that could be within a house, where your modem is.
And a lot of times you put your desktop on the floor under the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hides the DV. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah. So I ended up just disconnecting my wireless card and I just plugged it in.
Yeah.
I ran a cable.
In fact, with desktops, it's not that common to have wireless anyway, because desktops were usually meant to be wired. But now we're seeing more and more computers are adding wireless because it's so much more convenient.
Mhm.
So wired is faster and better and more efficient. Wireless is more convenient.
That's right.
So that
That's right.
wins.
Well, Lynette, thanks so much for the call today. We appreciate it. And yeah, if you got a computer question, give us a call, 966-5299 this afternoon. And guys, we need the phones to ring with pledges too.
Yep, and that's going to take them to pick up the phones and dial 966-5299, toll free 1-800-790-0415, or securely online at jazz901.org, while you're sitting there at your computer going and writing down all the advice that we're getting here at Member Supported. That's the key thing, Member Supported. So it's through you folks that we sit here every Saturday and answer your computer questions.
Well, I got to say this too. Usually you guys have a friendly little thing going on with the Polka Bandstand show.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't talked much about it this year, who raises the most money, that kind of stuff. But the Polka Bandstand is whooping your tail.
Well, that's nothing new.
No. There's been times you guys, I think there was once or twice you guys beat them. I don't remember.
Maybe weekly, but I don't think
weekly
overall.
overall. No.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because they've been here 30 plus years?
35 years this summer.
35, yeah. And
so we keep telling them they have to go off the air for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So we can catch up.
Yeah, so we can catch up. But you know what? We know our listeners are out there, and every year they, twice a year they come to us and say, yeah, we appreciate your show.
Yep.
And, pick up the phones, go online, or they even mail in a pledge.
And actually, that's a really good point. Want to thank everybody because a lot of folks have mailed in their Soundbites renewals already.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much to everybody that's done that. Of course, all of the people that pledged during the week when the show is not on the air, we have a lot of that as well. So if you've pledged already for the Spring Pledge Drive, thank you very, very much. If you have not yet done so, now's a great time. The radio station collectively has a ways to go before we hit that goal, but we could do it a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
A little bit at a time.
Like they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's what we're slowly doing. It's just eating away at it and eating away at it. And,
How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Steve, there's a joke there somewhere, isn't there? 966
No, don't
Jazz.
go asking him.
966
You want to get
Jazz.
in trouble with the FCC?
966-5299, the number to call for your computer questions today. Of course, the guys are here answering your questions, but we're also here too. We have volunteers standing by ready to take your pledges of support. And the Jazz-O-Matic member level is awesome. If you don't want to part with, let's say, $120 or $150 right now, you can pledge $10 a month, $20 a month,
and
whatever
the
you
other
want to
thing,
do.
all right, not to scare people off. They think, oh, well, then I'm getting into commitment.
Nah.
No. If you go ahead and say minimum is $10 a month, you can start it and stop it at any point in time.
That's right. Yeah.
Because like anything else in life, certain things come up and you might have to stop it for a little while. That's okay. We understand it. Life happens. But you know what? Just taking the effort and donating whatever amount you can afford, that's what we appreciate. Because there is no wrong amount. And, but you got to pick up the phones or go online and do this and make it happen. Because the other thing, though, is you can't rely on, there's other folks. They'll take care of it. No, they're not. Not everybody's going to do that. And the one thing we hear, I know Rob hears along with me every year that we're up there at the Jazz Fest, is, oh, I love your show. You guys do such great work.
No, we love that, by the way. Thank you.
Oh,
we love hearing that.
You know what? But there was over 130,000 people that come to the Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
If every one of them, and this is just adults, that's not counting kids, would stop by and just drop off $1,
we wouldn't have to fundraise for a whole year. We would not have to fundraise for an entire year.
We would not have to fundraise at all. And that's the other thing. Every year, Rob gets tickets, passes to shows at the Jazz Fest, and we just give them away.
That's right.
And we don't make you do all these other fancy things like so many other places do. He usually just says, all right, tell you what, be this certain caller, and you can get it. That's it.
That's right. 966-JAZZ, 966-5299. People calling in now, and we need you to keep calling in as well. Keep the show on the air, because once we're done with the pledge drive, by the way, once we hit our goal for the spring, you don't hear us talking about it again until October.
No, we're getting ready for the Jazz Fest.
That's right. We're getting ready for the Jazz Fest on the Soundbite side of things. You guys will just continue to come in every Saturday and spend 2 hours answering computer questions. But in order for that to happen, we need you to make that call.
Oh, one other thing that I was going to plug here is come April 20th is the Soho show down at the Rochester Convention Center. And we're going to be down there. Nick, Steve, and I are going to be down there, greeting folks like we do every year. And, take computer questions. And we'd love to see you folks stop down there. And don't be ashamed, to pledge down there too. You can pledge all through the year. Just because we have these fund drives twice a year, show up at the Soho show, come on down. There's a lot of great exhibitors in that. Like I say, we're going to be there. All of us. Rob's going to be coming down. Derek's going to be
Actually,
there.
I won't be there this year. I won't be there.
Oh. You're doing something else on 420.
Actually,
aren't
I'm gonna be no. I'm actually going to be in Las Vegas.
You're going to NAB?
Well, yes, I am.
You jerk! You're
I
supposed
know.
to take us.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. The National.
Wait a minute. He suckers us going into Soho. He's off to Vegas.
We'll trade you.
We got to talk to management.
First of
about
all,
this one.
I'm not going to Vegas to vacation. The National Association of Broadcasters conference is every year, and it is humongous. And I go there, and we have great ideas and conferences. And we bring it back here, and
it's getting deep
because you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them,
It's
know
getting
when to
deep.
walk
I
away.
love that commercial with Kenny Rogers, and everyone is just going, "Oh, shut up, Kenny, shut up."
All right, the number to call is 966-JAZZ. We want to get a couple more pledges in before the end of this hour, and we know we can do it with your help. Pick up the phone, go online to our website, jazz901.org, and pledge there. If Nick was here, he'd be, usually by week 2, he gets pretty intense of the pledge drive.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
he gets intense.
Mm-hmm. And if it has to go into next weekend,
yeah,
you folks better stay back. That's all I'm saying is, Nick, we're pushovers for it right now.
Yeah, actually, coming up next hour, Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot because I'm going to ask you about Apple Watches. I'm on the fence about it, and I need you to either tell me I should get it or why I should not get it next hour. Okay? How versed are you in the watches?
A little bit.
A little bit. All right.
They just came out with new bands. That's the big thing. Once you buy the band, it's like every 6 months you have to buy a new band.
Well, there's that, and also, is it a waste of money? Of course, they just announced that the cost of the watch is coming down.
Drop the price, which
they
is always
dropped the
good.
price a little bit.
Starts at $299.
You got to turn your mic on in order to be able to be heard on the radio.
I didn't touch it.
You did. You got so
I keep
excited.
seeing you turn his on and off.
Yeah. Don't blame me, Jack. I'm not in the controls. You're sitting there. You said you know how to run the board.
I do. And to think I used to run a 50,000 watt AM radio station with you guys too. 966-JAZZ, 966-5299, the number to call. Nick Francesco out this week. He'll be back next week, but we need you to pick up the phones. Of course, you can give us a call with computer questions as well, but we'd love to hear from you with a pledge of support. I keep going back to the tech support thing because we all have had to bring our computers in a shop before, and we've all had to bring our computers into a shop and go, please don't hurt me too badly with the bill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you guys offer that in-depth support every week.
Yeah, we do. And you know what? We got to thank, though, the folks that do take the time to turn around because, we do week after week give out a lot of advice. And every so often there's a number of folks that have called in and said, you know what? They call us back and say, to shock the heck out of us is, you know what? I tried what you said and it worked. And we just sort of sit there for a few seconds and go, it did? Write that one down because it did. But you know what? That's the fun that we have with this show. A lot of folks think that we pick on people. No, we don't pick on people. We have a lot of fun. And if you folks listen to the show long enough, you know that.
That's right.
That we try to make it so you don't get frustrated with that computer, that you want to smash it through the window. Well, you know what? Right now, that music.
Well, hang on. Most importantly,
he can do the outro.
I can. Yeah, you just sit
that
up.
I'm not used to.
You just sit up. Listen, I want to thank our latest member here, Jazz 90.1. Daniel from Geneva just pledged online. Daniel, thank you very much for your support. So Daniel's done his part. David's done his part. All of the folks that have called in the first hour have done their part. Now it is your turn. Please pick up the phone and make that call. 966-JAZZ, 966-5299 to support Sound Bytes. You can also pledge safely and securely online at jazz901.org. Coming up next hour, more shenanigans, more fun, more excitement. What's that phrase when the dog's away, the cat plays or something like that? Is that the phrase? Is it? All right. Good talk, guys. As they're both back on their mobile devices over there. My goodness.
Hey, you're running the board.
966-JAZZ, 966-5299. Please make that call. Coming up next, more sound bites on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Don't go away.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester. A public service of the Greece Central School District. Jazz 90.1.
Streaming online at jazz901.org.
3 suspects are facing charges in connection with the deadly bombings in Brussels. Belgian media reporting that one of the men may be the fugitive airport bomber. Correspondent Phil Black and why the suspect's full name has not been released by police.
They say they are deliberately being tight-lipped throughout this ongoing investigation because they say, in their own words, they're chasing more terrorists. They know they're out there and they don't want to tip them off.
President Obama discussing the Brussels attacks today.
We're also working to disrupt plots against the United States and against our friends and allies. A team of FBI agents is on the ground in Belgium supporting the investigation.
Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are competing in 3 Democratic caucuses today. Presidential preference polling is taking place in Washington State, Alaska, and Hawaii. Sanders favored in Washington and Alaska. Newly released documents show Defense Secretary Ash Carter used his personal email account for government business for nearly a year until December 2015. The Pentagon says no emails contain classified information. I'm Michael Toscano.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Tickets to this year's Jazz 90.1 Jazz Cruises go on sale April 1st. For more information, visit our website at jazz901.org.
Ready to become a member of Jazz 90.1? It's easy to do and it feels so good. Just call 966-5299. That's 966-JAZZ, or pledge securely online at jazz901.org. And remember to check if you work for a company that matches donations. This could double or even triple your pledge. Anytime is a good time to become a member of Jazz 90.1.
What's on your wish list for a great place to live? Excellent schools, safe streets, good housing, and well-paying jobs? What if you could live in a community that would help you protect and even improve your health and the health of your loved ones? Cities and towns across the country are making planning for good health a priority. Planners are working to improve our health today and guarantee the health of our children tomorrow. Learn more at planning.org. That's planning.org. A message from this station and the American Planning Association.
Follow Jazz 90.1 on Facebook at facebook.com/Jazz901FM.
Hi, this is Ian Shaw, and next time on the Ronnie Scott's Radio Show, we'll be joined by the James Carter Organ Trio.
I had a great time back in 2010, albeit because of the fateful volcano that popped up in Iceland.
So catch me next time when we're going to be joined by the James Carter Organ Trio, Wednesday from 9 p.m. here on Jazz 90.1.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bites, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbites.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
You are listening to member-supported Jazz 90.1. I'm Rob Linton in for Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And we are here taking your calls, your pledges of support. Nick Francesco out this week. He'll be back, though.
Mm-hmm. You'll be
thankfully,
back next week. Yep.
Thankfully. And taking some pledges now.
Get back the show to normal.
Stop it.
He claims he knows how to run the board, too.
You know what, Dave? I have the button over here that'll shut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what you usually say.
I go home early.
Hey, want to thank right now, taking a pledge from a good friend of ours, Dolores in Lima. She's pledging right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Dolores. David as well from Bergen, who's pledged just a few minutes ago. Thank you so much. And if you've not yet pledged, now's a great time.
Yeah, really. We're getting so close, but you know what? We need you folks to, not sit back. I know it's the holidays and you're busy getting stuff ready for Easter and everything else. But as we stress, pledge drive after pledge drive, and I know it gets old for some folks, but it's through your support. On my Thursday night show, I DJ here on Thursday nights from 6 to 8, and I always tell folks, call in, give me your requests, because we're on the air because of you folks, and that's why I take requests from folks, because it is your station, and I love playing music. But you know what? In the same token, we need you folks twice a year to turn around to keep this happening. Get up and pledge. Because it won't happen. I mean, it's very easy. We could go off the air. And folks think we're joking. No, Rob could sit there and put some other program in here, whether it's just canned-in music, from like the overnight stuff, because you folks don't seem interested.
There's some show that pays the station.
Yeah.
We're volunteers here. We do this out of the goodness of our hearts, and we don't charge the station.
Well, that's what I think a lot of folks don't realize is most of the folks here, all the DJs at night, are all volunteers. And Dick, Steve, and I, we volunteer our time every Saturday. That's taking time out, on a Saturday, where you folks are usually getting up and going out doing errands and everything else. We don't get into much because you know what? I know for Steve and I and Nick, we usually get up, get ready for the show. I'm leaving the house usually by 11 or so because I got to get here and get things ready. And then we're here for 2 hours. By the time I get home or anything like that, it's usually 3:30. So there's most of a Saturday shot.
3 or 3:30, you must drive slow.
No, it depends on whether I got other stops to make on the way home,
make.
because I didn't have time to do it in the morning, or I'm here doing the radio show.
And I still work at a retail store, so I have to get up early and open the store before I can come here.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things that we could be doing with our lives. But
so if we didn't have the show, I'd have to stay at the store all day. So thank you.
But I mean, it's our, we dedicate this time slot for you folks and helping you. And twice a year, we ask you folks to, step up to the plate and please pledge your support and show that you really appreciate what we do. Because like Rob was saying, computer repair isn't inexpensive. There's things that can go wrong, and they will. And this is one thing that we try to keep up for you folks. You know that you can call it, and 99% of the time, you will always get an answer right here and now. And we try to be as user-friendly as we can with you folks and get it solved. And you hear this week after week. I know you do if you're a regular listener. So we need you to pick up the phones and give us a call at 966-5299, toll free, 1-800-790-0415, or pledge online at jazz901.org.
And of course, you can give us a call today with your computer questions as well. We are looking for pledges of support, but of course, we're here taking your calls and questions. And I say you guys, because I don't know anything about computers. I know how to turn it on and spot it. And when it breaks, I bring it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
966-JAZZ, 966-5299. Steve, last hour I was talking a little bit. I'm on the fence about an Apple Watch.
Yep.
So what's the deal?
You got to be able to tell time first, right?
So wearables is sort of this new generic category of tiny computers that you wear. I have the Strive smartwatch. That's a pedometer. And that was sort of the first big thing that a lot of people started wearing in this new fitness craze society that we're starting to see now, where you want that pedometer, you want to watch your steps. But since we're technological geeks, we want them to also do other things. So the first thing that most of these wearables do is notifications. So you get a text message or you get an email message. You don't have to pull your phone out of your pocket. You can just glance at your wrist. And we jokingly call that such a first world problem.
Right.
Dick Tracy.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, at what point did we get so whatever that we don't even want to take our phone out of our pocket?
Well, it saves you like 3 seconds.
That's right.
and every time you get it. So that you could save a whole minute by the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it is much more unobtrusive to just glance at your wrist, especially when you're with someone or talking to someone. How rude it is to pull your phone out and start looking at it. But everyone else is doing it now too. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. At dinner, rather than pulling your watch out and that kind of thing, you just glance.
You mean your phone? And look at
or
your
your phone. You look at your watch now.
Yeah.
But there's different size screens.
Then that could be rude too. Folks are thinking, "What, you on some time schedule?"
That's true. That's
so notifications are a real big thing. And then another part of wearables is the fitness and the health. Most of them are pedometers. They'll watch your steps. Many of them will also do a heart rate monitor, and the Apple Watch is among them, so they can watch your heartbeat. It can watch you exercise. You can tell it what kind of exercising you're doing, and it can keep track of that. And it can also help with your health data. We've also already seen third-party applications for monitoring blood glucose if you're diabetic, monitoring your heartbeat if you've got heart problems. And so we hear all kinds of stories all over the net that people love the watch because of this. And other people love the watch because of this or because of this. So it's not a one size fits all. And in fact, there are two sizes. There's the 38 millimeter and the 42 millimeter.
And it's the size of the screen. Or no?
Basically, yes. It's the size of the watch itself.
Okay.
It's nominally men's and women's. But because women generally have a smaller wrist, men generally have a bigger wrist.
Right.
But I know a lot of women that love the 42 and some men that like the 38.
But it's like a $50 difference.
Yeah, that's the other big thing is the different different price.
Yeah, so if you're going to pay that much for a watch,
you might as well.
$50 isn't that much.
Well, what's interesting is when I was a kid, the $30 Casio chronograph that had a calculator on it was the height of technology, and we loved it. But in the watch world, $300 for a watch is nothing.
It's really not that
it's
much.
Nothing. You're right, and that's the Apple Watch Sport, and then there's the Apple Watch, which is a higher class, and that starts at $400. And then there's the Apple Watch Edition that starts at $17,000, which is average price for something like a Rolex or a Tag Heuer.
That's too much time on their hands.
Literally, yeah. Or some of the super watch, and then the bands, as I mentioned earlier, the Hermès leather bands. It could be $1,000 just for the band.
Yeah,
for a cheap Hermès band.
So the folks that are buying these watches, so wrong. You see your emails pop up, you see your text messages pop up, all that kind of stuff. How's the battery life on these things? Because I'm hearing they're not that good.
That's always the big question. And what we're seeing is when you first get it, the battery doesn't last very long.
Right.
Because you're always looking at it and always doing stuff. Generally speaking, you get about a day out of it. And so we're sort of used to that now with our phones. At the end of the day, you plug it in to charge it. And same sort of thing with the phone. When end of the day, hopefully it lasts until you can go to bed and plug it in to charge it in bed. But generally, we're seeing that's about it, and that's pretty much average. Once you get used to the novelty of it and aren't looking at it all the time and keeping the screen on all the time, because it's battery operated, it blacks out the screen when you're not looking at it. So there's something called the glance where it recognizes you lift your wrist up and it lights up the screen. You can see the time. Some of the glances you can have are what's my next meeting, what's my next email appointment. And so you don't have to go that deep into the watch interface to see what's coming up, and a lot of those glances are customizable.
Now, two questions. Number one, the power connection on it is one of the magnets, right? The magnet power connection?
It's a magnetic power connection.
Okay, so there's that. And also, are you guys selling a lot of these? Do you sell them at your shop?
We don't sell the watches ourselves, partly because we don't sell the iPhones in general. We don't like the way the cellular systems work. But so the Apple Watch requires an Apple phone. The Samsung Watch requires a Samsung phone. There are some generic Android watches that work with any Android phone, but we're seeing most of the manufacturers are tying their watch to their phone, which makes great business sense to them.
What was the reason that Apple decided to come down in cost? Were there a lot of people, were they finding that sales were sluggish? What was the deal?
Well, we don't really know. They never say things like that, but part of it is the initial cost of a product is often based on how much it costs to develop. So say it cost them $1 billion to develop it. Now the first one is $1 billion, the second one is $50. So now that they've been manufacturing them for a year, they may have been able to mark down the development costs, and now they're more into the manufacturing costs. And by lowering the price, it does open them up to more of a market.
Yeah.
So the people who couldn't afford a $350 watch can now afford a $300 watch.
Now here's the deal, though. You have to have a certain iPhone, right? It doesn't work with it's iPhone 6 on up. Is that it, or was it 5?
5S. I believe.
5S on up will work with the Apple Watches.
Yeah.
I'm on the
five plain.
5 on up.
So that's 4 years ago.
I'm on the fence. I can't decide. I don't know.
And so one of the things
Don't laugh at me, Dave. You've got some little trinkets and stuff too. You're a tech nerd.
Well, and Nick loves his Moto 360.
No watch.
Well, the job you have.
Yeah, that's the other thing. In the last few years, most people have gotten away from wearing a watch at all.
That's right.
Because the phone tells the time.
The one thing I miss, I'd love to get though, is a pocket watch again.
Yeah, Nick likes pocket watches too.
Yeah.
There are a few
here.
companies that do it.
My grandfather, well, I go back to the day, my grandfather always had one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, he'd always pull out this gold pocket watch, open it up, and on the hour it used to chime.
They chimed? Those pocket watches chimed?
Yep, they can.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Okay.
The Apple Watch, I know for sure, but and the other watches, I'm assuming too, have replaceable bands. So you can buy the watch and then you can have your sport band, elastomer polymer. Plastic, and then you can get leather bands and metal bands. So you can get all kinds of different bands depending on you're working out, you're going to a formal dinner, but you can also replace it with other types of bands. And there are chain bands, there are pocket watch bands you can get for them. And so once you get the watch, women have known this for years. It's not not the dress, it's the shoes and the belt
and the
purse.
accessories. Yeah. All right. The number to call to make your pledge of support here on Soundbites is 966-JAZZ, 966-5299. We need you to make your calls and pledges of support. Of course, we're taking your computer questions as well. And we'll go now to Sal and Fairport. Sal, thanks for calling in today.
Hey, thanks.
Hey,
I'm a member, but I wanted to give you some input on the Apple Watch because I've had one for quite a while.
Cool.
You're going to find the battery life is better than you think. At the end of the day, I still have about 35% battery sometimes, maybe 20% at the lowest I've seen. The glances, as Steve mentioned to, is really useful because there are certain things that you're looking for and they can get to it quickly. And all the complications that show up on the face, like if you're looking at weather, before you step out, you look at the watch, it gives you the local weather.
Sal, what size do you have? I'm sorry, I was taking a call.
I have a 42 millimeter.
42. Is that where it's at, do you guys think? I mean, the smaller one is
it gives you the better battery life.
Well, because it's physically bigger. Yeah, because it's physically bigger, it has a physically bigger battery in it.
Right.
But 4 millimeters doesn't sound like much between the 38 and 42.
It's just about right. It's about the same size as any other men's watch face. 38's a little small, and you're going to find that you're probably 10-15% difference in battery.
Now, do you find that you could, if you had to get rid of it now, you couldn't live without it? I mean, have you know what I mean? Has it made that big of a difference?
I do find that it's interesting. You're used to it, and you can play around with the bands and have fun with that stuff. But sometimes you're in a meeting, and you're not supposed to have a phone in a meeting. It's just
rude. Yeah, you're in a conference call and you're playing Angry Birds.
But if you've got text coming in, you glance at it, you see if it's urgent, you can step out and take care of it. If not, let it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard on a podcast once. I said, "Would you drive back home if you forgot to put it on that morning?"
Yeah, you would.
Well, it's just like, would you turn back around and go home and pick up your phone if you left it at the house? I would.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's
maybe not.
That point where the phone is necessary, but the watch makes it convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've gone to work a couple times, left the phone sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
You know what?
On the 60 Minutes interview, Phil Schillers, who's Apple's president of marketing, he gave an interesting analogy that the watch is so you don't have to look at your phone as much.
Right.
And the phone is so you don't have to look at your tablet as much, and the tablet is so you don't have to look at your computer, your laptop as much, and your laptop is so you don't have to look at your desktop as much. So over the years, we've seen this where everyone used to have this giant desktop in their house.
Yeah.
And then you might get a laptop too for portability. And then over time, the laptops got powerful enough so you didn't need 2 computers. And now with tablets and phones being relatively inexpensive, everyone in the family can get one, and so you don't have to fight over the computer.
Yeah.
And what we call it sometimes is trickle down mechanomics.
Mechanomics.
Yeah. So dad gets a new iPad, and then mom gets the old one, and then the next kid gets her old one, and the next kid gets their old one. And
here's the crazy thing: if you have a Bluetooth earbud set, you put the phone away, you can control the off and on and play, play and pause on your watch.
Yeah, you don't have to have the ear thing dangling out of your ear now.
No, and if you're running or doing or biking or something like that, you can certainly control that through your watch without having to pull out the phone to do it. And you don't have a cord to dangle around. It's a Bluetooth. Very convenient.
Yeah. No.
I think you should get one.
I'm on the fence. Yeah, I know. Everybody, there's a couple of DJs here that have them go, Rob, just buy it. Just get it.
Go get one. You won't look back after you get it.
and you can make an appointment at the store to go try them on for a while before you actually plunk down your money to buy it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's so many to choose from. Although I have heard that if you make an appointment for the gold ones, the $20,000 ones,
you get 2 armed Pinkerton guards,
right?
Yeah.
And they take you to a back room, and
you'd be surprised. They won't try to upsell you to the stainless just because it's more expensive. If that's all you need, the aluminum sport one.
There you go.
Fine.
Yep.
All right, Sal. Thanks so much for the call today. We appreciate it. You too.
There's always there's always the latest gadget.
Little toys.
What's the latest new gadget?
Well, it's like
be?
right now the new Samsung Galaxy,
the 7 now,
the
right?
7. Now the 7, because they say it's water resistant. Now that's where folks have to be careful because they show this one commercial guy walking around the store pouring water and everything else on it. When we can talk about that more when we come back.
Well, and Dave, I would argue with you that if Droid came out with some sort of a watch.
There's some
to work. Well,
there's some.
Okay, but I don't believe it. All right, you're listening to Sound Bites on member-supported Jazz 90.1. I'm Rob Linton in for Nick Francesco, joined by Dave Enright and Steve Ray this week. We're taking your calls and pledges, 966-JAZZ, 966-5299, and, of course, your computer questions, too. We'll be right back on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by the Eastman Community Music School. With an extensive jazz education program, the Eastman Community Music School offers school year and summer jazz lessons, ensembles, and classes for all students of all levels and backgrounds. The community school has been part of the Eastman School of Music since 1921 and is located on Gibbs Street in the heart of the Cultural District. For more information, you may visit us online at esm.rochester.edu/community.
Do you have questions about screening for breast, lung, or colorectal cancers? Are you scheduled for a radiology exam or treatment and have some concerns? Answer your questions and ease your fears by visiting radiologyinfo.org. More than 200 descriptions of radiologic exams, procedures, and treatments are available on radiologyinfo.org to answer your questions about what to expect, how to prepare, and more. Get informed and be prepared. Visit radiologyinfo.org, developed by the Radiological Society of North America and the American College of Radiology.
This is Kim Corcoran, host of Two on the Aisle. The Jazz 90.1 Spring Membership Campaign is happening now. You count on Jazz 90.1 each day for great jazz music, and Jazz 90.1 is counting on you to renew your membership or become a brand new member to keep the great music going strong. We're offering many great thank you gifts, including jazz CDs, DVDs, Jazz 90.1 clothing, and our enhanced member card with discounts to dozens of restaurants and businesses in the Rochester area and beyond. Please call now and make your pledge of support. Call 966-JAZZ, that's 966-5299, or toll free 1-800-790-0415. You can also pledge online at jazz901.org.
Sunday nights are Spectrum Sunday nights on Jazz 90.1.
Spectrum Sunday nights.
I'm up every morning with the sun.
Start your evening at 7 with Jim McGrath and the Blues Spectrum, followed by the Soul Jazz Spectrum with Chuck Ingersoll at 9.
Spectrum Sunday nights.
Then The Spectrum with Derek Lucas at 10. From blues to soul jazz to the spirit of jazz, join us Sunday nights starting at 7 for Spectrum Sunday nights only on Jazz 90.1.
Spectrum Sunday nights.
Hi, my name is Jeff Harris. Join me every Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. for Big Road Blues. Big Road Blues is an exploration of vintage blues from the 1920s on up. Each week we examine different themes and aspects of the blues. playing both classic and forgotten blues greats from the past. That's Big Road Blues every Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
After a bit of a chilly start, look for a good supply of sunshine across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes for the day today. Temperatures will range anywhere from near 50 degrees from 5 and 20 south to the upper 30s to near 40 lakeside to the mid-40s in Rochester. Tonight's mainly clear. The overnight low temperature in the low and mid-30s, not as chilly as last night. Easter Sunday brings sunshine and increasing clouds. The high temperature 60 to 65. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Right now, mix of sun and clouds. Nice afternoon out there. A little bit chilly. 40 degrees at the airport, 44 here in Greece at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, my name's Rick Petrie, host of North Star Sounds, every Tuesday night from 10 to 12 on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
And welcome back to Sound Bytes on member-supported Jazz 90.1. I'm Rob Linton.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And Nick Francesco is away this week. He'll be back coming up next weekend. We need you to pick up your phones right now or your mobile computing devices. I wonder if you could pledge from the Apple Watch. Too tiny? Ish.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Trying to put your credit card number in that way. A lot of different ways you can pledge. Of course,
Apple Pay.
That's true. Can we do Apple Pay?
Yeah, you
know.
need a physical terminal.
You'd have to talk to the station manager. He might have some control on
Did you get too much sleep last night? Because you're awful porky today.
Hey, it's fun being on this side.
966
This hasn't
Jazz.
wait a minute.
This
We got
hasn't
to
happened
explain
since
this.
Wham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, this has been over 7 years that I've been able to sit here. Going back to our original story, when you asked us to come here, you said only one problem, Dave. You got to run the board.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to stuff 3 of you in a small studio. We got to get another mic up. Okay, we can do this. And like I say, I've been on the other side, sitting there answering the phones, running the board, and trying to participate in the conversation.
Well, I figured I'd give you a week off because at your age, you gotta take a sit down every now and then. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. Look, in the 7 years, I've never used a chair. You come in once, and your butt's got to be parked in one of the big chairs,
right.
and poor Steve's here on a wedgie.
I'm sorry. All right, let's get back to the phones and
My
talk to.
seat on my motorcycle has more room than
Oh my gosh,
Steve's seat.
you need to take a nap or something. Ed, Ithaca,
I'm
New
just
York.
getting wound up.
Ed, thanks for calling into Sound Bites today. How are you?
It's fun to listen to you bicker.
Hey, this is the way it always was.
I want to listen to you. I listen to you by podcast, and I'm a member.
Oh,
thank you.
Now, I called you a couple weeks ago because I needed to get a new laptop, and I wasn't sure to get a 7 or a 10.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, well, let us know what you did. So I ended up getting a used 7 that has 5 gig of RAM.
Okay.
And a AMD. And I upgraded it to 10.
Yep.
To Windows 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it cost me $75, so I thought it was worth a try.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple questions now that I'm on 10.
Mm-hmm.
First, I've heard about Classic Shell that you can use that will show you your old, present things as if it was a Windows 7 machine.
Wasn't that a Windows 8 thing to give you Windows 7?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, so you can't do it on 10.
Yeah, but mostly because Windows 10 is pretty much back to the original Windows 7 shell.
Yeah, it's there. It's got the start button there.
Except the start button now shows you that gooey touchscreen-ish type interface that Windows 8 had.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't like.
Yeah, well, at least it's better. It's a lot better than, in trying to find things, than the old Windows 8.
Well, according to ClassicShell.net, if that's the same company, it does have a Windows 10 version.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't have any information on how good that is.
No.
Well, go over there and do some research and let us know.
Okay.
The machine's new, so you can't mess up too much.
Right.
And let us know. It'd be interesting to know. I don't, like I say, still, promoting that folks are, this month you're going to have to go to Windows 10. And that's what I'm wondering.
You have to go to Windows 10 this month?
We're not exactly sure yet. They said last April that the Windows 10 upgrade would be free for a year, and the year is up.
Yeah, this April.
So does that mean, we don't know yet, does that mean you're going to have to pay for the upgrade to Windows 10? And we've been hearing in the last couple of weeks that Microsoft is sort of sneakily behind the scenes. Windows 10 was an optional upgrade in your auto Windows 7.
Now it's
and then it was a recommended upgrade. And if you don't do manual upgrading, Windows 10 gets installed automatically.
What we had,
and so we're worried that eventually it's going to become a required upgrade.
Last week we had 2 people call in and say, "Wait a minute, they went to bed, their machine was on Windows 7, they woke up and it's out now on Windows 10, and they didn't do anything."
Well, yeah, because they left auto update turned on, and it automatically updated the recommended Windows 10.
And that's what it's doing. And like Steve was saying, they still haven't said what they're going to do come the end of April.
The one thing they did say is that Windows 10, the Windows 10 upgrade would be free forever,
right?
Which implies that the next version of Windows won't be. But that's what we're afraid of. Yeah,
and that's what we've heard a lot of folks saying, that they've seen it, and I've read it a few places too. Windows 10 upgrade.
Yeah.
So we don't get slammed like we did before. The upgrade is free, and this what's what I'm wondering also about big businesses. These other companies and all that have turnkey software and everything else, if they're going to be forced to go to Windows 10.
Well, I mean, here in the school district, we're on 7. And I mean, you're talking thousands of computers here. And it took a long time for them to get 7 under control with all of the programs they use.
Yeah, and 7 was a rock solid operating system. Windows 8 stunk. And it was never good, and 90% of corporate America didn't go to that because it was a piece of junk.
The biggest problem with Windows 8 is it was designed for a touchscreen, and hardly anyone had touchscreens.
Yeah, you're not leaning over your desk trying to touch a screen, and then that would be additional cost too.
Although
just getting a touchscreen.
What is interesting now is that we are so used to our phones and our tablets of touching them that we'll often see people, and I've done it myself, touch the computer screen because we're expecting to touch something on our tablet screen. But adding a touchscreen to the computer adds that much more, cost to it.
And it's going to be interesting this coming year to see what corporate America does, because 90% of them, like I said, stood back right away from Windows 8. Didn't want any part of it because it was a whole different learning curve. Things were moved around. It wasn't very clear on how to do it. And anybody that's embedded with Windows, say back from Windows 3.1.
It's actually July 29th. I think it was announced in April, but available in July. So July 29th is the 1-year anniversary.
Well, hopefully they come out with answers soon to let people know what's going on once they hit July.
Yeah, the free for a year.
Did they change that though?
Well, I have heard that they did change it officially to free forever. The upgrade is free forever. Yeah. So if you're buying a new machine, you're paying for the Windows 7, the Windows 10 license in it. If you build your own machine, you have to buy Windows 10 in a box, which is like $100 and some, whether you want home or premium or pro or whatever. But yeah, so when the next version of Windows comes out, the expectation is that
it's just going to be Windows.
It's called Windows. Yeah. We'll probably call it Windows 11 because we have to call it something.
Yeah.
It will be an annual subscription, just like Microsoft Office can be now. And so when you buy a new computer, right now we're used to getting like a 90-day or 6-month subscription to the antivirus. So you're going to get a 1-year subscription to your Windows OS, and at the end of the year, you're going to have to pay again. And that is very frustrating. Although in Microsoft's favor, their Office licensing, the Office 365, $100 a year gives you 5 computers, 5 phones, and 5 tablets. That's a heck of a deal.
And you know what?
For a home user.
And Google Chrome is free.
Yeah,
along with Google Docs, Google spreadsheets, Keep, which does a great list keeping, and you can also put that app on your phone, and Google Photos. Store all your Googles, 16 megapixels or less, up there for free, and I've got thousands.
Are you talking about on Google Drive?
Yeah, no, Google Photo.
Google Photo. Yeah, I went into Google Drive last weekend after you guys were talking about it, and I'm struggling with it. I'm having problems.
Google Photo is better. On Google Drive, I only
Well, it's got Google Photo included. The Google Drive has.
There's sort of 2 features. Google Drive.
You can put photos there.
You can put photos on it. Google Drive has a limited amount of space you're allowed. It's 15 gigabytes.
Is it 15 gig?
Yeah, I paid the $1.99 extra a month.
And what do you got now? 50 gigabytes?
Yeah.
Some ridiculous thing like that.
Yeah.
But for if you put your photos on it through Google Photos, photos below 16 megapixels don't count toward your limit.
Well, yeah, and I'm having a hard time with them not even showing up in my Google Drive folder.
They don't necessarily show on Google.
Yeah. All right, listen, we've got just about a half hour left of the program. We're still looking for your calls and pledges of support here on Sound Bytes. Remember, at the end of the day, this show, this computer talk show, this basically live 2-hour technical support opportunity is only here because of our members and people that to step up to the plate with a pledge of support. If you've not yet pledged, now's a great time to do so. 966-JAZZ, 966-5299. We'll go now to Paul in Brighton. Paul, thanks for the call today.
Yeah, I have a technical question. First, a comment on your last remarks. Okay, if you have let's say, I think you said 5 computers, you could upgrade with Windows 10 to all those 5 computers for $100 a year. What about those people who only have 1 computer?
Well, that was Microsoft Office.
Okay.
But that's the worry, is that when Windows goes to a subscription, is it going to be per machine, or you're going to have multiple machines in the family? But dealing and building on the Microsoft Office subscription, I would expect it to be multiple computers in a family. But for businesses, you're going to have to pay for every single computer you put it on.
But some families do have just 1 computer. $100 a year for Office, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. So that and for that 1 computer, you can easily use Google Docs or LibreOffice, or you can even use Microsoft Office Online for free if you store your files on the SkyDrive. So there are ways around paying for Microsoft Office, and for most people, you don't need to write a lot of stuff anymore. It's all email that comes in your email program.
Well, it depends.
But yeah, it depends. So yeah, so there are free word processors and free online services as well. But that, $100 a year for the operating system is probably, and if we don't know for sure, that's
we don't know. Don't quote us.
That can be expensive for a person, especially
a family of 5 or 6.
Especially when you can buy a cheap Windows computer for $300 or $400. So that's when you get the Chromebook for $200 or $300, and that's everything. Yeah,
that's why I'm saying either Linux is going to take over for the desktops and that type of stuff, and folks for laptops are going to Chrome. It does everything. I mean, like I say, my Chromebook, I can do anything and everything. I can check my banking, I can surf the web, I can create documents, and again, they're stored up in Google Docs. You can always download a document from, say, Google Docs and convert it to a Word format or WordPerfect, whatever you want. But most of it, RTFs, is rich text format, and that's comparable across all fields. Any program can usually read rich text format.
And it's the change that people are most worried about and most upset with. That I know how to use this program. I don't want to change.
I'm familiar with the features in this one.
That's why we still run into a lot of people that are using Office 2007 or 2008, and when they find out that won't work on their brand new Windows 10 computer, they have to choose something new. That's very frustrating for them. So you have to remember that when you're buying a new computer, is you may have to buy new software too.
I have a very quick technical question, if I may. I find I have a laptop and a desktop computer, and I'm getting frequent intervals where there's a lot of disk thrashing going on. And is there any way to find out what's going on? What is actually? If I go into what's it called?
This task manager.
The task manager. I don't see very much there happening. I'd like to know what's going on in terms of what's accessing the disk so intensively during those periods. It's not backup. I do have a backup utility, but I know it's not that.
In the task manager, there's another tab called processes, and that
so many that come up,
and they're all cryptic, and you have no idea what any of them mean. A lot of times, what you end up doing is Googling what each process is and finding out what it is. But many times it's sort of a combination of everything. There's an indexing utility that indexes the files on your hard drive so that when you search for a file, it can find it. The background updates for all the different programs may be running and checking for updates. The mail download can be checking for updates.
And just your key, waiting for you to put input from your keyboard.
It can also mean that your hard drive itself is wearing out, and it's having trouble reading a file and has to read it and read it and read it until it gets it again. Usually you'll find the computer getting really slow because of that. So we've all also seen lately, a lot of computers don't have a drive light anymore. In the earlier days, there was a light that blinked at you when your drive was being used, and now you have to actually just hear it behind the scenes running. Or your fan will ramp up because the hard drive is working and getting hot. I'm Googling around to see if there are a couple of utilities that claim to be able to tell what's accessing your hard drive. and unfortunately, I can't get to the website at the moment. It's stalling on me. But there are utilities that will try to give you a better idea of what program is actually accessing your drive.
I want to thank Paul for calling in today. Of course, you can refer to soundbytes.org, and I know Steve will post whatever information he might find on that on the web, right, Steve?
Yep.
Is that how it works? Okay. 966-JAZZ, 966
Something is accessing my hard drive.
Something like that.
We have just about 20 minutes left in the program. We need these phones to ring with pledges of support to keep Soundbites and other great programs on the air here. You've heard the past couple of people calling in with questions. What does that support mean for you? Please make that call, 966-JAZZ, 966-5299, or you can pledge safely and securely online at jazz901.org. Coming up more with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, and me, Rob Linton, here on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Please make that call.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
What's up? Hey, man, you guys on the way? We're standing near the back towards the bar, and they're about to go on. I can barely hear over this.
Rollover accident on the inner loop. You're not getting out of downtown anytime soon.
Calling or texting a driver? Yeah, you're that distracting. When you call or text, first ask if they're driving or wait for a safer time. Visit yourthatdistracting.org to help end distracted driving.
I'm Otto Bruno. Join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. for Sinatra and Company. We'll enjoy the music of Frank Sinatra and his many musical friends, including Dean, Sammy, Bing Crosby, Billie Holiday, Steve and Edie, and so many more. If you missed the show on Sunday, or you just want to hear it again, Sinatra and Company is rebroadcast on Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. So it's 2 hours of Sinatra and Company for you every week, right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
To your razzle-dazzle, you...
Tickets to this year's Jazz 90.1 Jazz Cruises go on sale April 1st. For more information, visit our website at jazz901.org.
There is no better way to test drive a restaurant than to take them up on a dining incentive. Jazz 90.1 has dozens of them for you to try. Test drive a new taste with the Jazz 90.1 Enhanced Member Card for your pledge of $90.10 or more to Jazz 90.1. It's good for the duration of your membership. Get the Enhanced Jazz 90.1 Member Card by calling 966-5299 or online at jazz901.org.
Hi, my name is Jeff Harris. Join me every Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. for Big Road Blues. Big Road Blues is an exploration of vintage blues from the 1920s on up. Each week, we examine different themes and aspects of the blues, playing both classic and forgotten blues greats from the past. That's Big Road Blues every Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Have you been wanting a Jazz 90.1 or short sleeve t-shirt, half fleece, or hooded sweatshirt? The dark navy color with white logo is good looking and tasteful, and you can find them all at the Jazz 90.1 online store at jazz901.org. Wearing Jazz 90.1 apparel makes it easy to let the world know that jazz is your music and Jazz 90.1 is your station for jazz. There's also a navy Jazz 90.1 baseball cap to complete the look. You know, you just might find exactly what you want when you check out the Jazz 90.1 online store at jazz901.org.
Jazz 90.1 weather.
After a bit of a chilly start, look for a good supply of sunshine across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes for the day today. Temperatures will range anywhere from near 50 degrees from 5 and 20 south to the upper 30s to near 40 lakeside to the mid-40s in Rochester. Tonight's mainly clear. The overnight low temperature in the low and mid-30s, not as chilly as last night. Easter Sunday brings sunshine and increasing clouds. The high temperature 60 to 65. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Right now, mix of clouds and sun, 40 degrees at the Greater Rochester International Airport. Here in Greece, it is 43 at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
This is Mike Velasquez. Join me Mondays
from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
And you are listening to Sound Bites on member-supported Jazz 90.1. I'm Rob Linton in for Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
What were you waiting for? This kind of like this,
Yeah,
music.
we're listening to The Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About time we got
It's
some
kinda-
decent music.
Jeez. All right,
Very
listen.
professional. Yeah.
Listen, we got to go back to the phones. We've got Ed calling back with some follow-up questions. Ed, thanks so much for holding. What can we help you with?
Hi. Yeah, so I've got the Windows 10 now, and I have two questions that I'm trying to get used to things. One is Edge, which I'm using Internet Explorer on. How do I get toolbars to show on that? I can't figure out how to get the toolbars menu.
My first guess is you don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's ask Google. You're not using Dave. You're not using Windows 10 at all, are you?
Yeah, no, I've got it on one machine,
I've
and
played with it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm using Chrome though, as far as a browser, and again, I just put it on another machine to see how it would convert from Windows 7 to Windows 10. And be honest with you, I haven't played around with it too much
Several
because
people are asking the same thing on how to get toolbars back on. There's a little ellipsis on the far right corner.
Yep.
Click on that and go to Settings, Advanced Settings.
Yeah, I did that, I believe.
And it should be in there somewhere. It's kind of related to with laptop screens.
Yeah.
By cutting out on all these extra toolbars and extra button bars, you get more of the website on a small laptop screen.
Yep. They're trying to give you more real estate there.
There should be one called Show Favorites Bar.
I don't see it.
And that will show you the favorites. That shows you the favorites bar. I don't know if that's the toolbars you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've got I think I have the favorites bar. Yeah. Okay, well, let me move on to my second question.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's 13 pages
is there
on
a way
Microsoft.
to move passwords from one computer to another? I'm
No.
able to move bookmarks. I haven't tried password.
No.
What password management program are you using?
It's in Firefox.
Yes. That's part of your profile, I think. Firefox profile.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to go over to Windows 10 that easily.
The same version of Firefox, maybe. Move passwords to a new computer. How do I migrate my saved password? So there is a link at Mozilla.
Yeah, I know there's been the claim that you can do it, but I've not heard folks with great success on it.
There are two files in your profile, SQL databases that store your passwords. So there is a way to do that. You can copy the file manually, or you can copy your entire profile folder from one computer to the other one.
Okay. The same way I copied the bookmarks?
Right.
Yeah, I'd be interested because I've talked to a couple folks and it didn't work. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'd be interested because I haven't tried doing it yet. Because one, I don't like storing a lot of passwords on my computer anyways. Just a little paranoid that way.
Yeah, if you do something like that, you kind of want to turn on the master password so that you need a password to get to your other passwords.
Yeah.
So you don't want someone sitting down at your computer and looking up all your passwords.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ed, thank you very much. We do have to move on to the next caller. We appreciate you calling in today. And hey, guys, I got a couple folks to thank.
All right.
Thanks so much to Gary in Rochester, who's a renewing member. Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
James in Lima, thank you very much. And Stephen in Rochester, thank you very much for your pledges of support, too.
Hey, again, all those folks taking the time to pick up the phones and giving us a call at 966-5299. Toll free, 1-800-790-0415. Or, which I've seen Rob go out a number of times out to the printer, folks that have been pledging online at jazz901.org. It's safe, it's secure. You don't have to worry about us getting any passwords or anything else like that. The most we'll do is turn around and email you and thank you very much.
That's right. We've got just about 10-ish minutes left in the program, and we'd love to get some more calls and pledges because, after all, it is because of our listeners who become members that Sound Bites is able to be on the air in Rochester.
Yeah, and one thing folks got to remember, though, going to Windows 10, Yeah, it's a scary move, and it's going to work right with your machine and all this other stuff. You got to do your homework.
Check with your vendor, the company that made the computer.
Just like that laptop, the lady with the laptop.
In fact, in general, do your updates before you do anything major. Like upgrade the OS.
That there's going to be, and check the software. Some of the software, I've had folks sit there and say, well, yeah, it'll run on my machine. And I say, did you check all the software? They go back and they check it. Well, this one's not ready for it. Then you don't want it. If you can do without that software until they get around to doing the update for Windows 10, then go for it.
There's a couple of programs on my machine I'm really scared, and I got to do my homework too. I mean, I still use, don't laugh at me, I still use Microsoft Money for my checkbook.
Was discontinued like 10 years ago.
Yeah. And I guarantee it's not going to work with 10. I mean, I would assume.
Oh, yeah. Probably not.
You know what I mean? But it's just those old programs that you hold on to that you don't want to let go.
Even sometimes programs that still exist. We run into problems a lot with Quicken. If you're running an old version of Quicken, 2007, 2008, 2009, it may not work. Current version is 2016.
16. I just went from 10 to 16.
Yeah, and one of the ironies is that you have to upgrade the operating system before you can upgrade the software, but you can't upgrade your data file until you have the new software, but you can't run the old software to export your data file.
Yeah.
So it can be a pain.
Well, we are taking your calls and pledges of support here at Jazz 90.1. We have Steve in Greece next on the line. Steve, thanks so much for calling. How can we help you today?
I have a couple questions, and they're probably stupid. And compatibility mode in Windows 10 is actually very good. I'm running an XP program, and it's working fine using compatibility mode. Now, a couple years ago, I audited a course at MCC. While I was there as a student, I purchased a Windows 8 operating system. I haven't used it. 2 years from now, if I find a use for that, install it, will it upgrade to Windows 10?
No. You first have to upgrade to 8.1, and then... Well, at current, we don't know is the short answer.
Yeah.
But the Windows 10 free upgrade is only available to Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 users. And so from Windows 8, you can probably be able to update to 8.1, but then Windows 10 may not be free anymore.
Assuming they're still doing it.
Yeah, assuming they're still doing it, you should be able to upgrade to Windows 10 from there. But it needs to be to 8.1 first.
And on the Office 5 licenses for $100,
yep,
there is really no reason I can't use a license for 2 people in my family and sell the other 3 to my next door neighbor for $60.
Except that's a violation of the terms of the contract, and they could sue you for breaking contract law.
Oh.
And we do not advocate that here.
They probably won't, but they could.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was. But I was thinking, well, I'm not using those 3. Let my neighbor have them.
Yeah, it's specifically licensed for people in the same household. So we're never sure if that means the kids at college are eligible or your kids that have their own apartment.
And who really polices that kind of stuff? Do they police it? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's a chance you have to take, but chances are nobody's going to get you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we do not advocate that here at Jazz 901.
That is correct. I was not
I've seen people doing that on eBay. They're selling their leftover Office license, leftover Netflix licenses. Netflix gives you 2 or 3 users in the house.
That's asking for problems, though. You know, that's asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I did renew my membership. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you keep going, guys. I hope you do very well.
Thank you very much, Steve. We appreciate it.
And people like you, Steve.
I do. Yeah. And I do have to say right now, go Team 578, Fairport Red Raiders. They are competing right now in quarterfinal match 3.
Your son's in that, right?
My son is competing. His team is competing. Down at RIT, the First Robotics organization is running. We've been watching the finals match all weekend. So, go Matthew and the rest of Team 578.
Cool.
What was weird, there's a lot of local high schools in the local local match, and my old alma mater, Churchill, was playing yesterday. And then my boss's kids went to Honey Falls, and they were playing. And
That's
neat
really
seeing-
cool. That's a neat event that they do at RIT every year. And
Yeah.
shifting from one thing to another, I was just thinking about this really quick because I look over on our little monitor here that shows how many people are listening online.
Yep.
One of the things we always say on the jazz side of things, and it's really important to say here too, that service, that streaming service that we offer is an expensive service. So if you're listening right now on the Jazz
we usually
90.1,
max it out here at Soundbites.
you do. You're the only show that maxes it out. And it's a very expensive program. So if you're one of the many people that are listening right now on the Jazz 90.1 web stream, either via our website or app, please consider supporting it. That's a cost. That is a big cost that we incur just to be able to provide our programming to people who are outside of the listening area.
Yeah, and the folks that do even go to our podcast, we don't want you folks
too.
You guys got to step up to the plate too. Granted, you're not listening to it live, but if you're deriving benefit from those podcasts, you got to actually consider going online at jazz901.org and pledging your support too,
And make sure
because you're getting a lot of free information there too.
Make sure you put sound bites in,
That's
in
right.
the notes field.
Yeah.
Well, it's right now we're looking at 93 people that are tuned in, and that's huge. That's a lot of streams going out that we pay for, again, just to make sure that we can bring our information and, of course, the jazz and blues and everything else we have here to our listeners. So if you enjoy us on the radio, online, please make this call today and pledge at whatever level is comfortable for you. The number is 966-5299.
Toll free 1-800-790-0415 and jazz901.org if you want to do it online and securely.
And I'll tell you, with being literally America's longest running computer talk show, you listen to some of the other shows out there, and what's interesting to me, they will remain nameless, but I've listened to these shows before. I don't think these people know what they're talking about.
Well, that's the thing, and a lot of them have the staff that go out and research answers. So they don't get the answers. Quite often they'll call you and say, well, what's your question? And then we'll call you back on what such and such day and answer your question. Meanwhile, they got a whole team doing research to answer that question. Nick, Steve, and I do it here without a net.
And you guys are local. You are rooted locally in Rochester. Between the three of you, you all have forgotten more than most people know about computers.
We've got 100 years of computer experience. That's between the three of us.
Yeah. You don't look a day over 80.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, listen, guys, thanks so much. It's been a lot of fun coming in with you today. I appreciate it. Nick Francesco will be back next week, and we need you to pick up the phone. Even though the program is ending for today, we need you to pick up the phone and make that call, 966-JAZZ, 966-5299, or you can pledge online at jazz901.org. Show us you love us. Show us you love Dave and Steve and Nick and all of us here. Coming up next, the German radio program. That's on until 4 o'clock today. The Great Jazz fires up after that. And beginning at 7 o'clock tonight, too, electronic and fusion music. And just a great weekend of music. We'll talk to you again real soon. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter from all of us here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Here are the Jazz 90.1 Club calendar